Greetings, fellow humans. This is Pat Callahan from All White Tukey. You're listening to another great podcast on the Four Eyed Radio Network. Yeah.
Hi, this is Steve from the 4i Radio Network. I'm here to talk to you about one of our great sponsors called Revenge Lover Designs. Illustrates and designs that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, please visit revengelover.com.
Hello, ghosts and ghoulies. It's time for another spooky episode of Not Another B Horrorcast. Ooh.
Hello and welcome to another brand new episode of Not Another B Horrorcast. We have a doozy of an episode for you tonight. Well, I don't want to say doozy because I don't want to hype it up and you guys realize it sucks, but we are on episode 5. I know we can't really say it's a show yet until I believe we reach episode 10, according to the podcast world. But we are consistent, and this is 5 weeks in a row. But before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this show, we did watch a movie this week called Christy, which is a perfect Thanksgiving movie. Now, we'll get into that when I talk about it. But if you haven't already watched it, since we have watched last week, if you did watch it, great. If you haven't watched it, then I say check it out during the holiday weekend. But, of course, I am Steve-O, your wonderful host and pretty much star of the network, I should say, because I'm on every fucking episode. You know what I just created right now off the top of my head? It's another episode, another show. So that's what I do. But I'm here with my lovely co-host and sexy co-host. I'm just going to say that now because we want to get more listens to it. I mean, I think Anna should show a little more skin on the Facebook page and stuff like that, maybe some cleavage or something, but here she is, my lovely co-host, Anna.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I needed to show more skin on the podcast. I was like, I don't
know. No,
that'd
be very hard to do. I mean, I am going to tease people tonight. I mean, I'll put it this way. Anna's not wearing pants, so I will say that. So we're not going to say what she's wearing, so it sucks to be you guys.
Use your imagination.
I know what everyone's thinking. They're like, wait a minute, why don't they have a webcam going on here? But yes, but before we dive into the show that we like to call...
We don't have a webcam going because Steve is not wearing pants either, and no one wants to see that.
No, we don't have a webcam going because I'm broke and I haven't gotten one yet.
Well, that too. You know what? I was trying... Yeah, you ruined it.
That's what I do. I ruin things.
You're fired.
I ruin lots of orgasms as well. Anyways,
do you?
According to the survey that was on, what's it called, Family Feud.
I don't have a response to that. Shocker, I know.
Okay, but of course, before we dive into everything, you can listen to us on 4iRadio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Zune Marketplace, BlackBerry Podcast, Blueberry Podcast, Mirror Guide, Podcast Directory, Double Twist, YouTube, Swell Radio, and Player FM. And of course, the show is brought to you by Revenge Lover. Illustrates and designs that fit your personalities. For samples and inquiries, visit revengelover.com.
So, random question: are we on the list to get a logo from Revenge Lover?
Yes, she is. The first one she decided to pull out the gates because she is now the co-host of Arcade Bros. So she decided to jazz that one up. But she has been. Well, the first logo she did was the 4i Radio logo.
Yeah.
So we finally got that one, and that's been going for a while. But she decided she wanted to make the entire network kind of almost look the same. So she has come up with, she's working on, I mean, she already put the ones up now, but for Arcade Bros. So go ahead and check those out. But she will be designing new ones. Actually, she also did the Fro Show as well.
Oh.
But she will be doing more. She said if anybody does have any ideas to give her, go ahead and feel free to give it to her, and she'll see what she can sketch out for that. If we don't have any ideas, then you could probably just do what I told her to do with Arcade Bros. I'm like, I don't have any idea or concept right now, so if you come up with something, just go ahead and do it. So she actually designed like about 6 or 7 logos before we settled on the ones that we pick. So, but what she also will do if she does create those logos and you have multiple ones, if you are torn between a couple one, I came up with an idea because she did design one for Arcade Bros that almost looks like a 70 kind of retro one.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her what we could do is do like a limited release of those at some point, like maybe next summer for prints and stuff like that. So people can buy
Ooh.
shirts with that stuff, but it'll only be like for a limited time. So figured then we can update stuff and things like that. So if she does come up with any ideas for Not Another B Horrorcast, because I did tell her, I'm like, this one does need a better logo than what I put together with Photoshop at a really short time. So yeah, she is currently working on that kind of stuff for all the shows. So
Well, I will say for just throwing together a logo on
Arcade Bros.
crap. Okay, I might be sexy, but apparently I am stupid as fuck because I can't remember the word you just said. Photoshop. There we go.
Yeah.
For the short time that you had for putting together a logo on Photoshop, I think you did a good job. So at least for a temporary one, because
Well, yeah.
it gets the point across.
Well, yeah, I know. I want to do other stuff like that, but then, actually, we'll figure it out when we get there. But since I finally got access back to the two of the websites that we do host as well, Arcade Bros and Longbotcast, we are planning on hopefully maybe some down the line doing a Not Another B Horrorcast website where we can actually do movie reviews of like our reviews of them, not just going off of what other people have done, and try to come up with other things to bring people to the page and stuff like that. Maybe even do some live commentary tracks or stuff like that. So
I mean, you can do some live commentary tracks. Most of my commentary is just going to be, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, that's fine. That's usually what happens. Oh, okay. Honestly, half of my commentary tracks that I have done is us going, oh, yeah, this movie, you're talking about. And then you start going, then I dive into a rabbit hole, and I'll be like, well, this guy was actually in this film. And then we go off on different.
True.
So my commentary tracks really aren't the best. Actually, if you want to listen to some good commentary tracks and you're a James Bond fan, I would totally check out Eric's and Ziggy's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Not a Majesty Secret podcast, which I do have to bring that up because I will talk about it on the next upcoming episode of Socially Awkward. But I finally saw my first James Bond film.
You did.
So,
what did you think, by the way?
I liked it, actually. It makes me now want to go back and watch not only the run of Daniel Craig, but also check out all the other Bonds. So,
definitely Sean Connery. Who's the best?
He's the best.
Actually, I don't know. It's kind of between him and Timothy Dalton.
Well,
because Timothy Dalton is fucking awesome James Bond. Although, I will say, if you want to watch a horror James Bond movie, watch any of the Pierce Brosnan ones because, oh my god, they're
okay, first
bad.
off, I have to say no to that because someone said there's actually a worse James Bond than Pierce Brosnan was.
There's
so.
one worse James Bond, and I can't remember who he was, but he was only in there for one movie, and he ended up getting married, and then his wife got killed, and it was just a terrible. It wasn't even a real James Bond flick. Like it. Ugh.
And to be fair, though, I mean, when Pierce Brosnan did get the role, I mean, the first one that he was in, I believe, was GoldenEye. Actually, was a really good reboot at the time for the James Bond films. So,
although the only one that I've seen of his was. Or not the only one. I've seen two of his, and one of them was Die Another Day, which really wasn't that good. Is that I can't remember if that's the one with Halle Berry or not.
It could be.
Whichever one is the one with Halle Berry was fucking terrible.
But,
and I mean, I know that James Bond movies are not supposed to be realistic, and I also know that we're hosting a horror podcast, which usually ventures as far away from the truth as you can possibly get. But seriously, come on. If a guy punches you in the face 7 times, you fall down.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, I'm done.
But anyways, before we dive into all this great stuff about the what we got news-wise, horror-wise, and movies and stuff like that we have watched this week, Anna, what have you been up to this week?
Well, today was shit. But other than that, nothing exciting really. Just work and stalking people on Facebook and watching horror movies. Oh, I'm not caught up on the most recent Sleepy Hollow, but I do know it came out, which I'm actually very excited for. I should probably go home and watch that at some point. But I don't know if you guys have been watching Sleepy Hollow, but it is a very good show. It's very well put together, and it actually, they do a good job of keeping the audience interested without overdoing it.
So, I have a question for you, and I don't know if
No.
you'll do it or not, but have you ever thought
Flash
about...
you? No.
No, you ever thought about live tweeting Sleepy Hollow? Like when you're watching it, just tweet it out on the horror podcast Twitter?
Well, if I knew how to tweet, then I might.
Well,
consider it.
there's this great thing that's also on your phone. It's really kind of cool. I don't know
Facebook?
I don't know how long this thing has been out, but if you guys haven't used it yet, it's amazing. This thing called Google works great to find information. You guys can't see it right now, but Anna is actually showing me her tits. So
No, I'm flipping you off because you're a dick.
It's all tits McGits in here, kids. But yeah, so we do have a couple of cool things to talk about on the podcast tonight.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah, we're drinking some. I shouldn't say I just got into this because it would sound dumb, but been drinking some hot chocolate with some peppermint schnapps for the holiday season. It's really good. Schnapps.
Every time I hear schnapps, I just think of the South Park episode whenever they're drinking this s'more schnapps or whatever, and they like have the Civil War reenactment.
Oh, right. Actually,
crazy
now that
shit.
you brought up South Park, that just reminded me, what we should actually do is watch all the South Park episodes that are Halloween.
We
And we
should.
can talk about that.
And the Cthulhu one.
Yes.
I love that one.
But before we're getting off track again, kids. If you like what we talk about on the podcast, let us know. If you don't like, if you liked any of the ideas we've come up with before, where we're talking about maybe doing like creatures of the week, like mythical creatures such as Sasquatch, the Chupacabra, all the
Pan.
kind of stuff. Yeah. Slender Man, all that kind of stuff. Or like if you have your own kind of
Steve.
horror stuff that comes in, that you want to talk about, make your own supernatural experience or whatnot, feel free to write in. We'll give you a read on the show and everything. Then we'll talk about your stories and all that good stuff. So again, like we said, the show is still in its very early stages. It can be pretty much like we are open for any ideas that you guys
We're open
like.
to experimentation.
Yeah, it's like this podcast is like college. I'll try anything once, all right? So
Sometimes more than once.
hey, if I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it looks like, I don't know if you heard about this, but it looks like, so the CW is known for giving us a lot of great TV shows for the past couple of years now. We got Supernatural, the Smallville started on there, which spun off the Arrow, which spun off the Flash. A lot of good stuff, but it looks like they're getting another great show that's going to be coming. It's right up our alley. It looks like Friday the 13th, the television show, is getting closer to becoming a reality.
Woo!
It was just announced that the CW network has opted the show for a new series. This has been in the works for a few months, and reportedly that's Sean Cunningham and mentioned back in March that there was an interest from the CW. I think it's a great idea because you're going to get a lot of viewers for that, especially if you back-to-back it with fucking Supernatural.
Oh,
You're on to
yeah.
that right off the bat. So it looks like, now I'm not sure if it's actually going to be like the old 1996 NBC series.
One of the weirdest, has nothing to do with anything,
Oh, you're
but
fine.
one of the weirdest back-to-backs I've ever seen is they had Bones and then they had Supernatural. I was like, I don't understand your freaking way to try and drag people into these shows.
The
with
only
that,
way
but-
I can think that they did that, and this is just me just knowing the randomness of how television, what's it called,
Because
movies.
in your dark, nebulous mind, you can
all this kind
fathom
of stuff.
all
The only
this
thing I can
shit.
think of is Bones might have lost ratings in the past couple of years. So they realized Sleepy Hollow is popular. People will watch Sleepy Hollow. How can we get them to watch Bones again? We do a side-by-side show of it because you need to tie in the storyline with two of these episodes. One on one night, one on another night, and they have to watch both shows.
Actually, it was in a row for the Sleepy Hollow,
was
but I'm
it?
not even talking about Sleepy Hollow. I'm talking about they had Bones and then Supernatural.
How could they do Bones and Supernatural? Oh, you mean...
Like, they showed Bones, and then they're having like 5 or 6 episodes of Bones, and then they're like, now, Supernatural. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, no, well, that's on TBS or TNT or something like that, because technically Supernatural's on CW, so technically they wouldn't have had... I'm talking about a crossover episode.
Oh, yes, crossover episodes they did with Sleepy Hollow, and it was weird.
Because honestly, that's the only time
Honestly,
I
it kinda
watched
sucked.
Arrow was because they did the crossover with Arrow and Flash.
They did do good crossovers with that. I can see Friday the 13th. No. I can see Friday the 13th crossing over with either Supernatural or Sleepy Hollow. And yeah, I gotta say, the Arrow episodes are a lot better whenever they cross over with the Flash. But I
But
still don't understand why they had to cross over Sleepy Hollow with Bones. Because it's not even like those shows are even remotely like at all.
oh, okay. Well, this one looks like from the.
Anyways, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. It looks like they're going to be doing a. Looks like Jason Voorhees will be in the show. It looks like they're doing kind of like a horror / crime thriller where a detective is looking for his missing brother, and somehow it ties into the Jason Voorhees story as well. So we can see where this is going to go. So we'll all check out the new Wreaking Havoc on Crystal Lake in the near future.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is it the same actor that's been playing Jason Voorhees this whole time, or have they switched it up?
I believe he's probably going to be the same guy who's playing Jason. I don't see why they wouldn't choose him because he is doing all the motion capture for the game that just got finally funded.
Oh, okay. I was just curious because I wasn't.
I
sure
wouldn't
if
see
they're
one.
gonna
I
keep
mean,
the
there's
same
no
guy.
real big details on that on the
Yeah.
story that I'm looking for, but I did post this on the Facebook page, so if you want to check that out, feel free to check it out as well. I will talk about this. So we will probably get a list together because I'm doing this with all the other shows, this thing, but we're going to talk about for that horror fan in your life. We'll try to put together a nice little wish list for people for Christmas, what some cool items to get for them, what good collectors, series of movies and things that are coming out. In fact,
Cthulhu.
actually, speaking of Cthulhu, being at Hot Topic, we did notice they do have the pop vinyls, which I'm a huge fan of, but they did have an Alien, which looked pretty cool. They had Cthulhu and a bunch of other ones. So those are some nice gifts. And they do some horror ones that they did release, I believe, during the holiday season. So,
And also for the nerds out there, they do have the Daleks. They have Dalek Sec. Was it Dalek Sec or Dalek Con?
I don't know. They had the gold one at Hot Topic, and
Yeah,
then
that's
they
the
had the
regular
black
one.
at Barnes &
I
Noble.
want to say that the black one is Dalek Sec. I'm pretty sure that's Dalek Sec. Anyways, my Whovian knowledge is kind of blanking out on me right now, but they have lots of cool pop vinyls at Hot Topic. So seriously, guys, go and check it out. It's freaking awesome. They have Cthulhu, which I'm sure most of y'all don't know what Cthulhu is, but he's awesome. So I actually already have a little pop vinyl of him at my desk, and people get confused and ask me what the hell the weird winged lizard tentacly creature is, and I get to explain it to them. And then they just look confused and walk away.
I would not explain to them anymore. If someone comes by and has no idea what that is at your desk, you just go, "It's your god now."
I should totally
With a
do
straight face, and then just slowly go back to your work.
that. Yeah, I
Um,
should.
So, anyways, but a couple of the things that actually one thing that came out. Well, I will talk about. So, if anybody plans on getting me any Christmas gifts, and I'm just talking about hardcore fans that people just love me, you can get me this Ghostbuster art book that just came out. If you're ready to drop 50 bones for my love, that'd be great. But speaking of Ghostbusters, because this ties into one of the movie things I found, so Ghostbusters sequel that went to hell. So this actually was probably they were actually in talks with a Ghost, because I mean we will be touching upon Ghostbusters in the near future, and I will have so much stuff to talk about that because I'm a hardcore. In fact, I've been even thinking about just doing a Ghostbuster podcast at one point. But Ghostbusters. This article comes from Bloody Disgusting. They actually were in talks for doing a third movie back in like maybe the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. But it's Dan Aykroyd and Irvin Reitman's Ghostbusters sequel that went to hell. Now, when Bill and Ted Went to Hell, it was a natural progression of time-traveling franchise that sort of where Ghostbusters 2 went wrong. Instead of furthering the franchise, the pit that quarter against the super evil Spooky, which felt mundane next to what they accomplished in the first film. So, apparently Dan Aykroyd and Irvin Reitman, who was the director of both those Ghostbusters movies, they wanted to have a bogus journey of their own, and had planned sending the Ghostbusters to hell.
Oh.
Basically, I guess it was going to happen is, I believe, the character Ray and character Egon were going to actually curate they actually created a way to get into the netherworld kind of thing where all the ghosts were coming from, which is almost a virtual, like kind of like a mirrored version of New York, but hell. And actually they were planning on the devil was supposed to be played by or kind of resembled a Donald Trump character being like the head of this corporation or whatnot. But of course this did not come to fruition. I remember hearing about it. Now, I know you can hear about this kind of stuff talked about on the what's it called? I think like the commentaries of the expansion pack, or not the expansion, the DVDs set that came out and everything like that. But without further ado, before I go jump to another story, I just saw this, so we're gonna actually say we lost another one, kids. Rip rest in peace to Michael C. Gross. Now, most people might not recognize the name and everything like that, but he was actually the creator of the Ghostbusters logo, and he has passed away. This iconic logo that was a simple design of just a ghost with a no smoking sign over it is now a huge pop culture. I mean, you see that logo, you know exactly what it is. So you rest in peace. Hopefully now you're hanging out with Egon.
It's so sad.
But what did you find?
I'm going to jump in really quick. I just found out that they're going to be they're working on filming The Conjuring 2.
Conjuring 2. Now, I don't know what the first one was.
The Conjuring originally was based on a true story.
Was this the one with, like, Nebraska?
Ed and Lorraine Warren. It was based about this family that was living in a farmhouse that was supposedly haunted. They actually twisted a lot of the details in the movie. They changed it around from what actually happened in real life. However, apparently they're making a second one. Yes. They are making a second one based on another one of Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases. So, and it looks like they may be trying to pursue a franchise with that. So that actually looks pretty interesting, which is actually really cool because I want to look into like all of their cases. And Lorraine Warren is still alive. I don't remember where she's living right now, but she does have the Annabelle doll. I don't know if you guys remember that movie Annabelle that came out a while ago that was completely fictionalized. However, the doll does exist, and it is in Lorraine and Ed Warren's house. Ed Warren passed away several years ago, but Lorraine is still alive, and she's running a paranormal museum out of her house. So it's actually very interesting, and I've been wanting to go and check that out, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Well, we'll figure that out once we can.
So, yeah. But yeah, Conjuring 2, I'll keep an eye on that for you guys and let you know if anything else comes up. And it looks like the same actors who played Ed and Lorraine in the Conjuring movie are going to go ahead and continue to play Ed and Lorraine in this next one. So I don't remember the woman's name, but I do know the guy's name is Patrick Wilson. So, and if you recognize that name, yes, he is the owl dude in Watchmen.
Oh, I did see. Oh, I'm thinking of something. Oh, no, he's just puts in every Supernatural movie now, doesn't he?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking of the.
And he's also in Insidious.
That was
he's the dad in Insidious.
He's also going to be. Actually, he's in the new season of Fargo.
Oh yeah, yeah. He looks really good with sideburns.
So,
He's a sexy man.
this actually, I've never even heard of this, but I guess the first trailer for Peter Heroes, WTF is what the movie is called. I won't play the trailer, but I will read the synopsis. It looks like 30 years ago, 22-year-old girl next door, Rachel, barely survived a brutal massacre that left her friends in pieces. Time has passed, and Rachel has moved on, but unfortunately the history was a way of repeating itself. Her close friends are spending a spring break in a secluded house in the woods. Kids, if you're a teenager, don't go to a secluded house in the woods. Everything bad happens there. And they are cordially invited to join her. Little does she realize that another bloodbath will show up as +1. Once Rachel and her friends arrive at the cabin, the party, sex, and the terror begins. So I'll go ahead and I will post this trailer on the thing. The poster's really kind of crazy. It's basically her butt-ass naked, holding her boobs, covered in blood with a huge gash.
Sexy.
And then it just says, WTF with an exclamation point. So this could either go as one of those let's try to revamp a brand new 2016 slasher franchise or something like that, or it could just be a really low budget movie, or it could just be one of those movies that doesn't get a wide release and you'll probably end up watching it on Netflix anyways when you have nothing better to do. But like I think that should be our new slogan. is we'll watch the garbage so you don't have to.
Sounds like a good slogan.
But yeah, so that was that news. And then also this just came out, which is probably right up your alley, one of the show notes, but it's called Witness the Beauty of the Art of Horror.
Ooh.
A new horror book illustration that's coming out, and it looks like most of the artwork is coming from books known by actually one of the artists who is forwarding by Celebrity Author is Neil Gaiman, who does a lot of Batman, Superman. He works for DC a lot and stuff like that, but a lot of this stuff is going to actually be a lot of stuff based off of H.P. Lovecraft stuff.
Woo!
So
My favorite writer.
So
one of my favorites.
like stuff from Astounding Stories and The Art of Horror, so Weird Tales. So they're going to have a lot of different stuff coming from different like old school comic book covers and things like that. So I'm not sure. It doesn't really give a date when this is going to be coming out. But I will post this link, but it looks like it's going to will contain over 500 stunning images that celebrate the genre, and also featuring forwarding by the celebrity author Neil Gaiman. So The Art of Horror. So definitely check that out. It's going to be a brand new book that's going to be hitting bookshelves pretty soon.
Found another upcoming movie.
All right. Hit it up.
Release date is 2016/2017. It's currently in pre-production. It is called The Woman of the Woods. And the synopsis says, Kelsey and her husband have just decided to separate. They agreed to go on one last family camping trip in a
like
remote
everybody
area
does.
of the Pacific Northwest to break the news to their young daughter. So basically, here, honey, have a great time, and then we're going to ruin it by telling you that we're breaking up. But an evil presence lurks in the woods, and it soon influences the daughter, who succumbs to a strange and frightening world of violence. Upon their return to Seattle, a police detective investigating a series of missing persons becomes convinced that the daughter is responsible. Kelly must prove her daughter's innocence, but to do so she must face the terrifying entity and finds herself spiraling into greater and greater danger.
Interesting.
Oh, and it has Cersei from Game of Thrones as the mother.
Ah, Cersei.
The creepy chick who's boning her brother.
Who doesn't bone their brother these days?
Me?
Oh.
Gross.
Well.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know. I just thought everyone was doing the whole Game of Thrones thing. It's like, I want to be cool. Let me have sex with my brother. I don't know what the kids do these days.
Does your sister have sex with you?
No, because she's not cool.
Oh, your poor sister.
Yeah.
Actually, well, never mind. No, I take that back. I'm very glad that she's not sleeping with her brother, because that would be gross. Or at least not that one. So, anything else?
Yeah, actually, I found a few cool stories. Here's a Stephen King's adaptation, The Dark Tower. Looks like Matthew McConaughey to play the villain in it. So, all right. We also have Alex Kurtzman and Chris Morgan talk Universal New Monster series. So I think they're trying to bring back all the old school Universal monsters, such as Dracula, which they kind of did at one point. Basically, what they're trying to do is, I believe, if I read the one story a while ago, they were talking about trying to bring back all the old school monsters, like giving them their own movies again, and then actually doing kind of like a Marvel team up with them. So this could go very good or very bad. But this actually story I thought was very interesting. So if everyone doesn't remember to the old 1990 or maybe 1980s when you can call Freddy Krueger's hotline. Talk to Freddy. 1-900-909-FRED. But it's like now kids these days have Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and a whole bunch of other platform to interact with movies. But what did horror fans do in the 80s and 90s? Scream was a more social relevant than you might recall, especially with Wes Craven behind the camera.
Yeah.
Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street franchise was so popular that Freddy Krueger Hotline was launched. Which began fans begged fans to call and take on Freddy in a trivia challenge.
Interesting.
Did anyone ever survive Freddy's Boiler Room? I guess is probably the game you get to play. But yeah, so I don't know if this number is still active. Maybe we'll call it one day as a joke. It's probably not. It's probably
8675309.
It's probably like, this is Freddy. I wish I had a girl's name called. Oh, this is when you know callers randomly selected by AT&T computers. When AT&T actually had computers. So that's all the horror news I found this week. I guess we'll talk about if during the Thanksgiving weekend, if you have nothing to watch or whatnot, but that Frankenstein movie will be coming out. I believe I Frankenstein is it? No, I think that's something
No,
else.
I Frankenstein is the one that came out like a year or two ago, and it had that.
Victor Frankenstein is going to be opening in theaters on November 25th during the Thanksgiving weekend.
And Frankenstein is actually played by the guy who plays the Faun in Chronicles of Narnia, and he is also the young Xavier in.
Don't even
Days of
bother
Future
with
Past.
Chronicles of Narnia. Just go. He's Professor Xavier. That is it.
He was Mr. Tumnus first before he was Xavier. So
Yeah.
you know what?
And do you know what he
you.
says about that? He's all like, "Yeah, I don't remember any of that because I'm on drugs, so I can walk because I'm an X-Man." Shink, shink, shink. Mind power, bitch. Fuck your Fonz. Anyways, and then you got Harry Potter.
Yeah,
As
fuck
Igor.
him. He's an ass.
No, he's not. What I love is like you hate this guy so much.
I don't hate him. I
but
just
he's actually
like
like
giving him
he's
shit.
just a real. Okay, did
I
you
know.
ever see him rap?
I know that the actor is actually a really nice guy. I just like giving him shit because I've never actually read the books, and I've tried to watch I tried to read the books and I got like one page in and I was like meh, and then I tried to watch the movies and I watched like a couple hours. I watched the first one all the way through, and then I watched a couple later ones and I was like meh. So
Actually, a play I would like to see, and I think you should see it in. I think it was
Book of
playing
Mormon.
No, it was in. You would like this. It was in London. They were doing it, and I think they released it on video, like DVD. You can watch or whatnot. But it's actually the play Frankenstein,
ooh.
and actually Benjamin Cumberbatch. Benedict
Benedict
Cumberbatch is actually he plays Victor. He plays Victor Frankenstein, and then the monster is actually played by the guy who plays Sherlock Holmes in the American version.
Robert Downey Jr.?
No, in the show in Elementary.
Oh, I haven't actually watched that
But
show.
the cool part is every night they would switch roles. So one night he would play the monster and he'd play the doctor, and they would switch it up every single night.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's actually two different shows you would want to go see because they play differently, which is I thought was a kind of a cool thing. So a little fun fact on that
really
one.
cool.
So I'll have to double check that where you can find that. But let's dive into our recently watched this week was Christie. Now,
It's Igor.
Christie is a weird film, and what I mean by weird film is the fact that
It's
trying to
so
find any
slow.
no, not even that, but trying to find everything about this movie was
Yeah.
very difficult to find. Now, I have two release dates. Apparently, it was released in 2013, but of course, everything else is saying it came out in 2014. Now, the movie originally was supposed to be in a different country, even. I believe it was.
I want to say it was a French movie originally.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a French movie.
The poor French.
I will give you the little bit of synopsis that it gives us on IMDb. It says, when a college girl who is alone on campus over the Thanksgiving break is targeted by a group of outcasts, she must conquer her deepest fears to outwit them and fight. Now, I will say this. The movie, actually, there's a girl who's very, very famous now, is Ashley Greene. She is in the movie. She is not the lead role in the movie like the woman who has to fight for her life. But without giving anything away, if you already watched the movie, kudos to you. Without giving anything away, we will say this is spoilers because it is a good movie. But I will say this, it is very slow. Expect the first 30 minutes to be very slow. So you have 30 minutes to just bear with me. As soon as that is over with, the movie picks up and it gets to where it needs to get to. Now,
Yeah, I think it's literally at minute 31 where stuff actually starts to happen.
so basically, you meet a typical college girl. She stays over at the campus because she's like, I gotta study. I can't take time to do this. She does have a boyfriend. Her one friend who's supposed to stay with her leaves because she's like rich or something, like her dad's like a senator or something. I don't know. But anyways, then the movie starts. You're like, okay, this is kind of cool. It kind of shows you. Now, what I realized after watching it and then replaying the movie in my head is everything she does in that first 30 minutes is basically showing you where she is going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, basically what ends up happening is in the very beginning of the movie, you find a girl screaming for help like a video. These guys slit her neck, and then there's a car just in this field, and these 3 hooded men are walking back to the car. And you're kind of like, what the fuck is going on, kind of thing. Now, unless you have anything you want to add to...
No, continue.
Okay, so then you learn about her, everything she does. She's swimming, she's working out, she's doing all these crazy things, college girl stuff.
Oh,
and
I
things
will
like that.
add something here. So, she's got a boyfriend, and I figured out while we were watching the movie, because I'm like, God, he looks so familiar. Turns out that the guy who plays her boyfriend also plays Havoc in X-Men Days of Future Past.
Ooh.
So, and actually it's kind of cute. And yes, it does have Ashley Greene, who
I will say
plays
this, though.
Alice in the Twilight movies, and then apparently Haley Bennett is also in Marley and Me. So these actors have had like a little bit of acting experience, so they're good in their roles. And it is a very good movie once you get past the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes, I will say this. It's a long build. It's a slow burn to get to where it needs to get to.
But it's pretty worth it.
So then basically the girl's like, I need to go out for an ice cream run. So she goes to this convenience store. It's raining. It's cold. It's everything like that. She walks in. There's like this girl in there. And the girl is played by Ashley Greene, and she doesn't look like anything Ashley. I actually Googled Ashley Greene going like, why does this girl kind of look familiar? And then you see Ashley Greene, you see what she looks like in this movie, and you're like, wow, nailed crazy psychopath woman. Good for you. And she's all of a sudden, she's just all like, I like your hair. Like, you're just being very fucking creepy and very awkward to this woman. So she goes to pay for her thing. She shows the student discount ID, and the one goes like, I want a discount. And then it's all like, the guy's like, well, let me see your ID.
Yeah, well, first the guy was like, either you need to buy something or you need to leave. And she goes, how much are the glasses, like the sunglasses that she's wearing, with a tag on her? So then the cashier looks pissed off because he didn't realize that she was basically about to steal the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I want a she's like, how much are the glasses? And he goes, well, look at the tag. And she goes, I want a discount.
So then he says, where's your ID? She doesn't have the ID for the discount. And then the girl's like, I'll just pay for it. And then she's like, I don't want fucking anything from you. And she's like, fine. God forbid I try to help her. And then she's all like, all right, you're...
And she calls her Christy.
Yeah, and then she she calls her Christy. So basically she leaves all like, what the fuck was that? She comes back, and the security guard, and she tells them, like, yeah, some weird, crazy people out there or whatnot. Actually, no, havoc ensues where security guards get killed, she gets locked in the school, and these 4 weird, crazy people are trying to murder her. They basically gave her, like,
then
a head
they started
start.
calling her Christy, and
Yes.
she says, I'm not Christy. And they basically say, well, you have 10 minutes to run, or you have, what is it, like 10 seconds to run?
Yeah, we're going to
or
give you like a
something.
10-second head start or whatnot. So basically they're playing this cruel game where they're hunting this girl down throughout the entire college campus, trying to basically murder her. Now, I will say this. Everybody she runs into along the way for help ends up dead. No, I'm not spoiling that for you people, but yeah.
Although I will say it was very clever in that she did everything that you want someone to do in a horror movie, like, and whenever you're sitting there and she looks into a doorway and you're like, don't go in the doorway, she doesn't go in the doorway.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff she did that was like, finally, like, it kind of gave this girl some common sense during a horror movie, because usually during horror movies, all their common sense glands are removed. It's all like,
as
oh my
illustrated
God.
in Cabin in the Woods.
It's like, oh my God, the front door is open. I could run out there. Let's go up the stairs.
Oh, it's exactly like that commercial, that Geico commercial. Like, I think it's Geico. Maybe it's not Geico, but it's like this horror movie, and these kids are like, okay, we need to go over to that shed with all the chainsaws. And the girl's like, why don't we just get into the running car? And they're like, are you crazy? It's probably what he wants us to do. So they go and hide behind the chainsaws, and the killer is just standing back there, and he like puts his mask up and just has a look on his face, like,
just like shaking
really?
his head, like,
just
really?
like, ugh.
So I will say this: what I liked about this movie was the fact that since I'm a huge video gamer, a great thing that really reminded me was the reboot to Tomb Raider, where basically this girl is pretty much pushed to a point of the edge of like, fuck this now. Now, what basically is her breaking point is her boyfriend comes back because she calls him, was freaked out with this, so he drives all the way back there. He goes to help her and ends up getting stabbed and killed. So then after that, she basically jumps in his car, runs down one of the guys. So number one is like the first guy is pretty much taking out just car into a like a cinder block, like
a cement
wall.
pillar.
Yeah, pillar, and is just dead on impact. Then she gets out, takes off running.
Well, I think he twitches a couple times.
Oh, he twitches a couple times. So then right there is the turning point of like, oh, shit's about to go down finally. Then the next guy is basically, he gets drowned in a pool, which she was doing earlier in the movie, where she's swimming, where actually she does this smart thing, which I was like, oh, that is clever. She actually puts her goggles on, and when she puts her goggles on, a lot of people are like, why is she doing that? It's kind of dumb, but it's because she's going to jump in the pool. Actually, she did it because your eyes will reflect flashlights. So like most of the time, if you're like, this is how I learned when I was actually out partying on the Indian reservation as a teenager, when the cops would come by and they would shine their lights up, if you put your head down and cover your eyes, your eyes won't reflect, and that's how they would know if people were there or not, if you're hiding somewhere. So that's why she puts those on, so in case he did flash the lights, it wouldn't reflect her eyes back. So
that's brilliant.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. That's what I was like, oh, that's really kind of clever. They actually implemented something that's, unique. So she drowns this other motherfucker in the pool. Then what I love, I talk about this one guy. So then she goes into the storage closet and she finds she takes the guy's baseball bat that she just murdered. Mm-hmm. Takes the baseball bat, goes in the storage closet, finds a bunch of nails, and makes a
and
spike.
a metal, what's it called? I don't remember what it is, but basically it's like a strip of metal with a bunch of holes in it. So she sticks the nails through the holes and then just makes a straight up club with this bat.
Makes the nail bat, the classic nail bat, which is great. And then what I love is like she's hiding in the shower area and the guy comes walking in and he can hear her like whimpering and stuff like that. And literally I'm watching this and I go, oh fuck, I wonder if she took the recording, because she found a recording in her boyfriend's backpack after his demise, and I was like, I wonder if she just recorded herself whimpering and just hung that in another one of the shower stalls to throw this guy off. Sure enough, if I'm in a horror movie, I'm gonna survive because I have fucking common sense apparently. So the guy, and it's funny because the guy's getting all like revved up, takes off his jacket, starts playing with his knife, like, yeah, I'm gonna stab this bitch or whatnot. Lily pulls back the shower curtain. There's just the audio thing playing, and he's like, what the? And then boom, baseball bat to the back of the fucking head. Oh,
just out of nowhere. It was awesome. And then like he's laying there to like kind of twitching and dying, and she just pulls his mask off and just kind of like stares at him like, really, bitch, come on.
And then what I love is the fact that now throughout this entire time that they're killing people and everything, that they are video recording stuff from their phone. Now in the beginning of the movie they did that and they uploaded it to this like crazy ass website, which like you're kind of sitting there going like, okay, what is this all about kind of thing. So messages are coming through and stuff like that. So she finally picks up the guy's phone, and the girl who's the only survivor of this whole thing is like, is she dead yet? And she's like, yep. And she's like, all right, bring the car around and whatnot. And then I'm like, okay, if this girl is smart, she would totally grab this guy's jacket, his mask, puts it on, and go out there and then fuck this bitch up. Again, if I'm in a horror movie, I'm going to survive. She does exactly that. And then what I love, because in the beginning of the movie, she's in a chemistry class, and the teacher's talking about how you can make pretty much explosives.
And you can take certain chemicals, and if they react with water, they explode or they catch on fire.
So she goes back to the storage shed, grabs all that material, puts it in a bag, and then when she goes out to meet the girl in the car, is just great because she gets out of the, like, she's in the car and she douses her with this shit, and then she has the water and the girl's like pulls out her box skirt, like, oh yeah, you want to go, I'm gonna fuck you up kind of thing. Like basically she's like, I murdered your entire crew and stuff like that. And then and literally the girl's like, just walk away, just go. Like the one girl really gives her the chance to just go like, go fuck off, bitch, like this is over, you lost kind of thing. And then she goes to scatter, and she just hits her with the water and just bursts. And she just stands there and watches this woman burst into flames.
Yeah, she watches crazy bitch burn.
So what I liked about this movie, though, is when it ended, too, she was able to take the videos and everything like that and uplink it to a bunch of policemen, and they were actually to stop all these kind of cults that were apparently happening all over the United States.
Right, there were hundreds of murders that were linked, and she actually, she uploaded the video of the girl burning and said, your plan failed, basically, like your mission failed, whatever. And apparently it's this whole cult of people like label like rich girls or privileged people, like men and women, like mostly like college age-ish, and label them as Christie, quote unquote, because they're like the privileged few or whatever, and then they hunt them down and kill them to basically please their leader.
You can say pagan god.
Well, that too.
I don't know.
But I thought that was a very interesting way to do it. And I also really like the fact that like they made it like they really did a good job of, okay, like she killed all those people. Now she gave the phone over to the cops, and the cops were able to track down the website, find out the IP addresses of who was going on there and who was uploading, and then they were able to catch it that way. Like, I thought that was very interesting, because normally, like, at the end of the movie, like, you would just see, like, the girl handing the phone to the cop or something, and then that's the end of the movie.
Well, not even that, or it'd be like one of those things where, like, she would hand it to the cop, and the cop turns out he's part of the group or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
or some bullshit
and
like
then you
that.
would try to set it up for a sequel. I kind of like how they didn't do that. Like, this might hopefully be just a one-shot movie, and I think it's a great one-shot, because that's the problem I have with a lot of horror films. A lot of them should just be one-shot movies. Like, I think it's a great idea, great premises, but when you always try to set it up for a sequel, or you're like, I mean, perfect example for a movie that was not set up for a sequel, but they did a sequel anyway, was Child's Play. Child's Play ends, and you're like, fuck, that was a great movie. And then literally in the beginning of that movie is like, oh, let's take the skull of the doll that tried to murder everybody and build a brand new doll. And that's how Chucky comes back in the second one. And you're like, what? That doesn't make any fucking... Why? No, what? Like, it's like, you guys didn't even try.
Just
like,
turn into Mark Wahlberg.
What?
No!
What? Mark Wahlberg is in Child's Play remake. What? No. Talking, what? Chucky, what? No, I gotta go work out. But yeah, so I think the
I'd
movie...
watch that.
I think the movie was a really great done. Now, on IBM, they gave it a 5.8, and I will check it out on Rotten
IMDb.
Tomatoes. IMDb, yeah.
By the way, also, one of the things that I like the most is the ending line is, like, the girl's name, the swimmer girl's name is Justine. And at the very end of the movie, she says something about, Justine is dead, my name is Christy. And I was like, oh shit, that's a fucking middle finger to the fucking cult. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Now,
But, like, I just love, like, that scene whenever her boyfriend gets killed and just you see the switch flip. She's just like, oh, fuck this. And she just flips out. Like, it was so well done.
But I will say this. So, actually on Rotten Tomatoes, it's no tomatoes scores yet. But 93% people want to see it. So I don't know. I mean, the average rating so far from them is 3 out of 5. User rating is only 131. So I will say this: the movie's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you're really not going to pay much of anything anyways. The movie's really not that long. It's about maybe an hour and 30 minutes, maybe even less than that. Like I said, the beginning is a little slow. It does take you a little bit, but I guess they want you to really like see where this girl is in her life and try to feel for her or whatnot. But it does, you do get a lot of, it really is a horror survival. She does have to kind of turn around. It's kind of good to see that finally, because usually it's always like, I gotta run away, and no one ever really fights back in a horror film, which I never get.
Yeah.
Like, they just kind of accept their fate and stuff like that. Like, I would like to see some fighting. I would like to see, because you're trying to tell me that this person, especially in the Scream movies, which is a really good movie, but you're trying to tell me that this person is so much strong. Like, what if this person breaks into the wrong house? Like, I never got that. Like, I want a horror movie where they just go after the wrong person, you know? Like, they've been killing all these people, like, things are going good, and they finally go after somebody, and it turns out this guy's an ex-Marine.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Like, fucking shit goes down,
Or
you
they,
know?
like, break into a redneck's house who's like, oh, fuck you guys, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass.
Yeah, you know, like, I want to see, like, don't get me wrong, I love, like, the old classic horror people, you know, you got Jason, you got Freddy, and, you know, you got those kind of cool people, but some of these new ones that are coming out, you're really looking at the people that, and then when they're finally, like, revealed, you're like, really?
Yeah.
This skinny bitch was killing all these people. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I want to see someone
And there's
fight
always
back.
that girl who's like, oh my god, what's going on? I'm gonna go have sex and then take a shower. I'll be right back. And then
Yeah.
she dies.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I did like this one. You did got to see someone actually try to fight back and fight for survival and stuff like that, which I do think we kind of need kind of more of these in some horror movies where you kind of do want to see the bad guy get fucked up, you know? And that would be great. Like, just one fucking... They could just call it... One, like, here's the... Okay, here you go. This is everyone's homework if you're listening, if you're going to tweet us or whatnot. Here you go. This is the title I'm going to give you, and you have to come up with a horror film where someone fights back. It's called One Bad Day.
That would be awesome. Seriously, guys.
Starring Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, hell yeah. That would be amazing.
That's who they bust into.
Seriously, guys. Email us and give us these stories so we can talk about it next week on the podcast.
If this works out, if this is what's going to happen. Okay, this is what I want you to do. If this works out, we will present a title to a movie if it works this way. If it doesn't work this way, you guys can give us a title to a movie, and we'll try to create one. But we'll do a teaser trailer, and since I'm the man of 100 voices, we will throw different actors and actresses into this to give you a trailer for this horror movie.
Christopher Walken.
It's One Bad Day. It's crazy. Oh.
We can have Christopher...
You.
Yeah, we can have Christopher Walken be the narrator of the movie.
Walked into the wrong fucking house, buddy. Oh, shit. All over your face, neck, and chest. Oh, it's crazy. It's weird.
He carried it in his butthole.
Yeah, he carried his knife in his butthole. It hurt. It's like a bleeding heart, but a bleeding rectum. It's so weird. It's crazy. The new book by H.P. Lovecraft, Bleeding Butthole. The Telltale Butthole.
That's Poe.
It doesn't matter. Fuck, they're both dead. Sue me.
No, it'd be at the mountains
weird.
at the Butthole of Madness.
The Butthole of Madness. It's crazy. It's weird. You step inside. It's just pure shit.
Well, there is a book or a story of his called Pikmin's Model.
Pikmin is a game on Nintendo. It's weird. It's crazy.
No, that's Pac-Man.
No, Pikmin. There's actually a game called Pikmin. I'm not kidding. No joke. It's about little creatures on a planet. You pull them out like weeds.
That's nothing like Pikmin's
I didn't
Model.
think so. But yeah, so that's so what would you give Christy? Do you think this is I think it's like I would have not seen this movie in theaters.
Out of 10, I would say it's probably a 7. It would be higher if it didn't have 30 minutes of downtime.
Yeah.
Because good God.
I agree.
Although I will say the fact that it had that first 30 minutes of downtime kind of made the gore and the action scenes a lot more interesting because then you're just like, okay, shit, oh shit, like.
But I will say this: you see this movie, great Halloween costume. Just make a tinfoil face mask and just wear a hoodie, and you're set.
Damn right.
I give it. I actually was gonna give it a 7 as well. I mean, it's a good film. It's a new original kind of idea. It's kind of cool to put like 4 against 1 because usually it's always like a mountain of people against one person, and that person just slaughters everybody. So I kind of like that was like.
She picked them off one by one.
Not only that, but it was just like more of like, okay, this seems like
it seems a little more plausible.
Like as much as plausible can get in a horror film, but
no, I'm saying like seriously though, that was plausible, even for a horror film, because I mean, especially with the scene in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, it's very well put together. It's very realistic in the situations that she gets into, and at least like it wasn't one of those like. Well, it was a little bit, but for the most part, it didn't really have any of those times where you were like, where she was like massively injured and then, oh, she's all better now.
Yeah,
like,
kind of thing. So,
although she did get stabbed in the leg and then that just kind of went away, and I was wondering about that.
Well, not even that, but she did also jump off a roof.
Oh no, that's what it was. She didn't get stabbed in the leg. She like twisted her ankle really bad, and she was just kind of like walking around normal after that. I'm like, really?
Well, maybe adrenaline. I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
I've never had to jump off a roof, so well, we'll get into that later.
Ooh, sounds kinky.
Not really. We jumped off a roof. You want to have a sex? No, it's not. It's not a really.
I was hoping that you were having sex on the roof with a married woman and her husband came home and he had to jump off the roof or something. I don't know. I was hoping for a story.
No.
You ruined it. You know what?
No.
Fuck you. You ruined my dreams.
No, first off, I just walked out the front door. Second of all,
yeah, you're just like, have fun, bitch.
I know it's more like there's no divorce coming. It is now.
You're gonna be like, hey, you wanna grab beer later?
Yeah. It looks like you're going to need it. Oh, anyway. So that's going to wrap up probably this episode of Not Another B Horrorcast. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page at www.com.
www.com.
Yeah,
what are we watching next week?
Well, next week is...
For the kiddos.
For the kiddos, I don't know. We did not pick out a movie yet. So we do have our Christmas lineup coming next week. We are planning on trying to go see the Krampus to start off the holiday season. So actually we'll be seeing that during...
Well, since it'll be kicking off on Thanksgiving, do you want to just talk about that Christmas movie we saw a couple weeks ago?
Well, we can. There's a really bad... People classify it as a B horror movie. I don't even classify it as that.
I classify it as D.
No, I'd say F for fuck. What did I just watch? But the movie we watched, and I believe it's on Hulu. It's not on Netflix. And the sad part is they made a sequel, which we will be watching in the near future as well. But
oh, no.
This is not the Michael Keaton movie, Jack Frost. This is Jack Frost that came out in, I believe, 1992. So go ahead, check that out on Hulu, and I will tell you this.
Check out the snowman's dick.
It is fucking horrible. Though Shannon Elizabeth is in it, and she dies a very unique way, which we'll talk about on next week's podcast.
It's either unique or it's not.
I would say this. I've never seen it before, and I've never seen it again.
That's true. I was just correcting your grammar, though, because it bugs me whenever people say very unique, because unique means one of a kind, so something can't be very one of a kind. Sorry.
Yes, it can. Very unique. Just like this podcast.
It's redundant.
I think your new nickname's going to be Anna, the grammar Nazi.
That's been my nickname for a while. Hey, at least I'm hot. Yeah.
Yeah, you are, because I have the heat on. Oh, anyway, so I guess that's going to wrap up this episode of Not Another B Horrorcast. Check out www.facebook.com/Not Another B Horrorcast. Give ourselves a Facebook page. Like we said before, if we get up to 50 likes, we'll give out a prize. We get to 100 likes, we'll do the same. We're trying to kind of like what we do with Arcade Bros, where we've been giving out like stuff like that. So feel free to also follow us on Twitter. If we actually get 100 Twitter followers, we'll probably also do another prize for that as well. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, you should go to @BHorrorcast on the Twitter. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy the podcast. Let us know if you don't like it or not, or anything like that. But you can also use the hashtag that I've been using, Horrorcast, until I come up with a better one. But that seems to be the one for now. But I think that's going to wrap it up, unless, Anna, you have anything else to add for the kiddos?
Nope.
All right, then I guess this will wrap up this episode of Not Another B Horrorcast, and go ahead and take us away with those delicious words to leave the children with.
Alrighty, until next time, guys, Carpe Noctem.
This has been another fine production of the 4i Radio Network. For more great shows, check out www.4iradio.com.